being with my wife. It's real weird.
It's a real adjustment
Come on, man.
to raise your children. It's like, whoa.
I do feel like, have you felt that at all? Like I've been like, I was kidding myself about how connected I was. Like I actually like, it has been, right? If anything.
Have you broken any of your kids' arms out of anger yet? It'll come. It'll happen. It'll come.
Oh man. All right, cool. We're gonna roll.
Yeah, we're rolling. We're live.
We're rolling. Welcome
This
to
is it.
the Cavalry.
Hey, we got a great guest. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We got a great guest on us on the show today. He's hilarious. You just had a big special come out, I believe, which was fantastic. I'm a big fan. Chicago guy, big Chicago guy. Pat McGann. Thanks for joining us,
Thanks,
Pat.
Andrew. Thanks. What's going on, Johnny? And Andrew,
Not much. I'm just here in my spaceship doing the podcast. You know how it goes.
It's funny that thing came out during all this madness.
When's Mom gonna be home? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Is this still on Amazon
was
Prime? Or do you have to,
titled before the pandemic.
Right.
Because now it's like, when is Mom not gonna be home?
Well, that's
When's
so funny.
Dad not
Like,
gonna be home?
were there any like bits or anything like? It is weird to. I've seen comics, and I'm actually jealous of comics who had stuff like loaded
in the
ready
bank
to drop during this. Because
Yeah.
then I was like, just thinking like, oh man, when's the next time I'm gonna ever be able to record anything? It could be like years, before you can get enough people in a place to make it sound good. So were you excited to have that? Were you kind of bummed that it was like?
You know what? I was like all over the board how I felt about it, because it was like we had it we had it recorded in September, and then we were trying to get it out there, and Sebastian produced it. Sebastian Maniscalco produced it, which was unbelievable. And then the thing was, it was just took a while to sell it, to get it on the platform. And then when they originally told me it was going to be the summer, I was kind of bummed out, right? Because I didn't know that this was coming. And then we got like locked down. Then I was like, is there a way to get it out sooner? And then I felt like July, like we might be back to normal then, and it's going to come out in the summer. And but no, it ended up being good timing. And I'm not sure, like they don't really show you like the numbers or really how it's performing, but I felt good about it. And I had a great like team behind me, like Sebastian's team helped me like promote it and get it out there, push the word out. So it was fun. It was fun to have something to do, just to have some action in July, because it is, we all can relate to it. It's just been dormant.
And I think it's good. Like, I don't know, from doing these Zoom gigs and stuff, I think it's good to have something that just doesn't talk about the pandemic at all. Mm-hmm. People don't want to hear about that shit very much. Like, you can get like one or two jokes in, but after a while they're like, please just stop reminding me of how shitty our life is, So I think it's kind of nice to have something that's just like exists in this universe as if it's not happening.
Right. That was cool to have, just to have that, like, hey, this is an escape if people want to go check this thing out. But then you do get paranoid a little bit, right? I think we were talking, I don't know if we were like rolling when we were talking about, but like
we're not rolling now.
Some of these bits, you're like, do people relate to this anymore? And some of that I think is in comics' minds. It's like comedians, us, like overthinking it a little bit. No, that like, because we've been jarred by this more than most.
Yeah.
And I say that with all, people are hit harder than us.
Well, but also like we're there's a big part of the country that's not really taking it seriously, and they're just out and about like, oh yeah, I forgot about that pandemic's going on. Oh, people keep talking about that.
Yeah.
Like, well,
that's
and
so
I got
true.
friends and neighbors that go to work every day. They're still doing their thing, and
no, that's so true, because like I've done gigs, like live shows since the pandemic, like at crappy casinos that were like just squeezing them in before things got shut down or whatever. And I tried to do jokes about like washing your groceries and all this stuff. Nothing. They're like, didn't even know what I was talking about. They're like, why would you do that? But then on Zoom, those jokes are great because they're like, they're the nerds who like won't go out, so it's like, you got to know your audience, I guess. But
like, you believe in this?
Johnny got heckled great. Johnny shared a video of him doing a live show, and he got, Johnny, tell him about you getting heckled by that dude.
Yeah, I'll text the video to you, but it's like I took my son, who is he was 6, or he is 6, and it was like his first time seeing me. It was my first show back, and it was in Port Washington. It was an outdoor venue, and I was like, oh, this will be great. I was so excited for it. Put it on a pedestal, forgetting how this exact type of show sucks. So he's watching me, and I got people just terrible. They're yelling out that it's a hoax. And they're one guy's walking to his car for the parking lot. He yells out, "You suck." I was like, geez, this lady's like, I didn't say that. And then he goes, yeah, I know, I did. And I was like, oh my God.
Was it JD?
Yeah. And then he showed me his gun.
No, dude, I it's so funny to be like, you get an offer for like a show. You're like, is it outside? Where it used to be like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going like,
oh yeah,
comedy outside.
Yeah.
Like what we're doing, like the few live shows I've done, I got to go out to Vegas with Sebastian. He was opening, he did a couple shows at the Wynn, and he asked me to come out and open for him. And they were outside and all socially distanced. And I mean, I was so excited to be doing something and be out there and be with him. Yeah. But it's just not the same. I mean, it's just
no.
And the connection is just not the same at all either. Like not even close.
I haven't. Have you done that wasn't though a drive-in show?
It was. No, I haven't done any of those. Have you done any of those?
No. But I've just seen people post clips and like people are honking their horns to represent their laughter. You're like, what the?
Yeah, are you mad? Do you like that? What's going on?
Like, come on, I'm getting to it.
Walking people just like just back up.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
Like that would be demoralizing. But I kind of wanted a shot at doing one of those.
Just getting rid of people.
Yeah, you gotta tell them out. Yeah, we should do it. We should put one on. Let's see if we can do even after COVID's over. We'll be like, no, we're doing the drive-in.
Yeah.
Are
there any live things happening in Madison?
No, there's not. No. I was actually supposed to do the jukebox. Have you done the jukebox? Peoria?
No, I've never been there. No.
Yeah, I was supposed to do it this weekend, Friday, Saturday. Is they're like, he's super like mask and low capacity, whatever. And I was gonna just pop in, do the show, and get outside, so I'm not like in there. But yesterday, he messaged me. He's like, yeah, Illinois' numbers are up, so they got these new mandates, and we're not allowed for at least 2 weeks. So we have to cancel 2 weeks of shows. So.
Wow. So that was that going to be your first time doing a club, like indoor?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I've had like
it's funny because on Saturday I have I booked a corporate Zoom show, and I was like trying to finagle how to do it. So I was going to get off stage, run to the green room, pray to God his Wi-Fi is good, do a corporate gig in the green room, and then do the late show. And then when it got canceled, I was like, well, at least I don't have to stress about doing a show in a green room.
Yeah, that's true. That's cool. That would be great to pull off.
They canceled the shows for like 2 weeks. They're like, it'll be over by then. 2 weeks, right? Yeah. It couldn't go longer than that.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Gods.
Can you come in February when it's really peaking?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a tough call to do these. You get opportunities to do these indoor things, and you're just like not sure what to do.
Yeah.
I know.
I need some sort of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why we brought you on here, Pat. We have an amazing investment opportunity. No. But anyway, should we get started? That was pretty good. Pre-show banter.
That was good pre-show banter.
Pretty good. Yeah. Pretty natural, pretty loose.
Yeah.
So Pat, Johnny and I explained, I think, what we do. We back each other up, Johnny, do you want to get started? Do you have something that you need?
Sure, I can get started.
Kick us
Unless
off.
something's burning in you, Pat. Do you want me to start?
Now, why don't you start, Johnny?
All right.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, this is how it's done. Okay. I
about it.
I firmly believe, and this is a recent development, but I believe that a trampoline in your backyard is pool in your backyard. Who's going to back me up? I think it's a lot cheaper, which is a plus. And as far as the fun factor, because we got a trampoline a few months ago, it's the greatest thing in the world. I've lost weight. I've had more fun. Me and my son have bonded. It's great. And there's no maintenance. And it's just fun. I don't know how big fans you guys are. You're looking at me like, what in the hell are you talking about?
I'm so taken by the way you pronounce maintenance.
What did I say?
Hit every syllable so cleanly. Maintenance.
There's another word I do. My wife always gives me a hard time.
Nail the consonants. No, that's good pronunciation.
Yeah.
Well, I am a public speaker. Pat,
I would love to. I like to argue. I would love to argue with you. I think that you're onto something. I will admit that I'm not like into either, because I worry. Like my kids are like, "Can I go on the trampoline?" I'm like, "You're gonna break your leg. You're gonna break your arm."
Oh, that's funny you should say that. My son had to go to the doctor yesterday because he landed on his head, and now he's like stuck like this for the last 2 days. But he's like, he doesn't complain about it. Like we're like, are
Johnny,
you sure?
you understand?
Now he's stuck like this.
One
That's
degree
called
off of
being-
he's stuck like this for 2
That's
days
because-
is
that's-
paralyzed.
That's being
for
called
life.
paralyzed.
Yeah.
No. We have
His legs are stuck like this.
That's funny you say that, because my son landed on his head and now he drinks through a straw. And he eats through a
I
straw.
wasn't gonna bring it up because it's counterintuitive to my point, but I still think trampolines are more fun. You
No,
can't
what I
get
was
a
gonna-
trampoline without the safety net nowadays, and I think it's great because my daughter flies into it every time she bounces. But yeah, I just think they're more fun. And my son, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He's on the heating pad. He's on the heating pad.
I say that, but then so we've been almost like bubbling with my sister-in-law, and they have a trampoline, and their kids are a little bit older than our kids. And I see that they go in there. It takes up a lot of time. Like you said, it's good exercise, and they like it's a good. There's so much like benefit to it, but I still feel like kills the lawn. Someone's gonna break a limb, but I do see it, and probably better than a pool, right? Because pools are so much upkeep, and where I live, you can only get so much out of it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
in
that's
the Midwest.
that's
I mean, a pool.
It's very geographic dependent, because like in the Midwest, how many months a year would a pool even be?
Right.
You're
talking above ground pool? Is it better than above? It's definitely better than that.
Well, yeah, anything's better than a
Someone farting in your mouth is better than an above ground pool. But like a nice an in ground pool is nice if you're hot. You just mowed, you jump in. That's about as great as it gets. You can have friends over and just lounge, but a trampoline is fun.
Yeah.
Here I'll back you up, Johnny, because I think there's probably like trampolines get all the bad rap for paralysis. They really cornered the market. It's like a stereotype. Right. But I'd say pools probably just as dangerous, really, when you look at the stats. There's probably a lot of drowning happening in pools and people you're going to jump off, do crazy stuff and hit your head on the side or whatever. So I bet it's just as dangerous for a pool. So that'll bolster, the argument, I suppose.
There you go. Plus, if you move, you could take a trampoline with you. You're not taking an in-ground pool with you.
Right. And it's very good for the core. And they say that a good core is, that's the foundation. It's a building block. But no one swims in their pool. They stand in it, and they walk around, and
what about one of those? What about those endless pools? What about that? The ones where it's blowing the water at you and you just swim. You could swim forever. Is that better than a trampoline?
I've seen those. Does anyone know anyone that has one of those?
I've only
I
seen those
swear
in
to
like
God.
Sky Mall magazine, and that's it.
I swear to God, I used to work construction when I was in college, and my boss, every once in a while, I'll check in with my old boss. And now we did every kind of project, like painting and roofs, whatever. Now he exclusively installs
Infinity pools.
Those
Oh, really?
endless pools. That's all he
You
does. He's
just
like,
swim right in front of it. It blows
yeah,
in
you
you.
just swim into the water. You can put them in your house, I guess. He's like, I can't keep up with the business. It's like
That's what I have at our house. So I can't real clean yards. It's like it's a phone booth, and you just go in there and it's a. But you still get to use the trampoline. It's just not
an infinity
trampoline.
An infinity
You haven't seen one of those?
That's like a jump rope. A jump rope is like an infinity trampoline.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. That's another good one.
I will say trampoline also much more like blue collar working class backyard. You know what I mean? Like you're just a regular neighbor, you know. Pool
Yeah, we're
is
not
very
showing off,
exclusive.
even though I am doing backflips all the time.
That's impressive. I was going to ask you like what your skill set is, because I feel, I mean, I'll just admit that I'm probably not so fired up about trampolines, because I'm not like acrobatic, or I'm not gymnast. I can never do a front flip, let alone
front flips are actually harder than backflips.
Really?
Yeah. But it's my two brothers are like, they're always like, oh, be careful. They're scared I'm going to get paralyzed. I sent him a video the other day because I'm trying to do 2 backflips consecutively, like backflip, bounce, backflip. And I can't. And I sent them a video of me almost paralyzing myself because I'll like do it in slow motion because I want to capture the first time I do it. So I did a backflip, and then I was like, oh, this is enough time. I got enough space. I'm going to go for it. I start the second backflip. I'm like, no, I got to change my mind. And I'm just like in the air, like, oh shit.
Really?
And I come down right on my but I curve just enough so I don't, get paralyzed. So I'll show you that video.
So I don't get paralyzed.
Yeah.
You say it like stubbing your toe, so I don't break.
You don't have to deal with paralysis,
Do you have because I've seen my nephew, he's actually very good at it, and it's impressive. And I see him, and it's all self-taught. He's in there, and he's like, he'll flip, but he'll put couch cushions down. Do you ever do that?
No. I mean, isn't he on a trampoline?
He's on a trampoline, but then he puts cushions in there too. I don't know for what. Maybe to.
This next generation of trampoline users are soft. They're putting down cushions.
So
Everybody has them though.
Paralysis.
They watch these YouTube videos. My kids watch these YouTube channels, and in every house where these guys are making like millions of dollars posting stupid videos, and they all have trampolines.
Yeah, I learned my tricks from my nephew. He's in 8th grade, and he just sends me videos of him doing it, and then I try to do it.
Really?
So that's how I do it.
Do you remember the trampoline that was just like the little circle? That's what my friends had, and they would just have
like the exercise, like the one that was just like in your exercise room.
Yeah.
With a handlebar on it, so you can hold it while you just bounce and go nowhere.
Yeah, I've never been that big in Jump Zone and all that stuff.
Oh no! Oh my God! I did a comedy festival one time, and the big thing was to take the comics out to one of those trampoline places.
Yeah.
What a nightmare! And then looking back on it, because it's like there's always 3 people who are sneaky athletic. You're like, oh my God, you're actually really good at this, and then you're exhausted 5 minutes in, you don't realize how hard it is, But then looking back on it, how disgusting it is, because now I've looked through everything in the COVID kind of context.
Oh, sure.
All the surfaces and touching, and people are sweaty and touching each other. I was like, I'll never do anything like that again.
It doesn't sound like backup talk to me.
Oh no, but I'm with you. Mostly, okay, I'm with you because mostly I think it's cooler. It's better because the image you're projecting. You don't want to be an exclusive. I've got a pool in my backyard. That's a really fuck you sort of vibe. I think you want to have the trampoline.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to college sort of household.
Well, I'll back you up here too, though. It's good to have the things at your house so that your kids are at your house. So
Yeah.
you know where they're at. That's the place where they come. The other kids come there, and you're like, hey, man, they're in our yard, and I know what they're doing. I know, like, I got eyeballs on them. And so it's good for that, right? And it's great for being outside and having something to do. More than ever, like, my kids, they've been begging for one, to be honest with you. We just don't have a big enough yard. And I would my have one. So it's like when we go over there, they're excited to see the trampoline.
We were sold from, because my kids' cousins, my sister, they have one in Omaha, and boy, it was a treat. So it was kind of like keeping up with the Joneses or whatever. Like, we got to get one. It's so fun every time we go there. So we just got one.
That's good.
It's great. I'm with you. Better than a pool. I'm backing you up for sure.
That'd be great if your kids only thought that they were in Omaha, and then that's why they always wanted to go to Nebraska.
The trampoline capital of the world, Omaha, Nebraska.
I think I talked about on a podcast I do with Jim Flanagan about the trampoline and the guy that invented it. And I think his name, it's a name. Is it his name? But then we got into like talking about like jacuzzi is a guy's name. And
it is?
Dude, yeah. Candido Jacuzzi invented the jacuzzi. And how
see, that sounds more like a name than trampoline.
I don't think trampoline is actually the guy's name. It's a dude from the Midwest, and it was originally called I forget what the original name for the trampoline was called, but it started in like the Tony, in the like mid 1900s.
Wow,
it's not that new.
Wow, how do you like that?
It's cutting edge technology.
Cutting edge, better than pools. Pools are old. Pools go way back.
Well, I was telling my brother that I wanted to get like, because it's like, it's a residential trampoline, and so you can only go so high. But you go to like a gymnastics place, they have like different color coded trampolines that you can just rock it. And I'm like, well, I want to go in the black market, get one of those, so you can like fly up through the air, higher than my house and shit. But then my brother pointed out, well, you'd have to dig a hole under the trampoline, because the higher you go up, you're going to go down. And how it is now, I mean, when I bounce, it's like, that far from the ground. So that just, I don't know.
Last year,
that's down the road.
We had my son's birthday party at that jump zone, and I grabbed a basketball and went into one of those stalls and like I wanted to dunk a ball. It was like like even when you get up there, it's like you're out of control.
Yeah.
You're almost like, shit.
Yeah.
I'm not even comfortable this high up.
That's so funny. Like, that's how you're white, is when you're like, even if you've been given the gift of flight up above the rim, you're still like, I still don't know how to dunk this thing. God, this is harder than it looks.
I could dunk a tennis ball.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's used to dunking a tennis ball.
No chlorine in a tramp.
Thank you.
No chlorine.
Thank you.
No chlorine. You don't have to clean it out. You have to get the fish, or not the fish, but the net, and skim it.
Yeah.
You don't have to heat
Maintaining a pool. You don't have to maintain it, is what I should say.
Right. Right. Easy maintenance.
You said that already.
But that's it. Yeah. I think you're good, Johnny. I think we're with you. This is great.
I feel comfortable with this level of backup.
Yeah.
All right.
Start digging that hole. What do you think, Pat? You want to go?
Fast forward to next week, and Johnny's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
What did we talk about last week?
What we doing the podcast?
I'd like to change my opinion of last week's topic.
I can't
his
remember
voice sounded different.
What we discussed.
I don't even need him anymore. I can just like record it and make him agree with me.
I was trying to think. So I was trying to think, and I had a couple of things that are hard to support. One I thought about when we were texting, and I sent you my email address. Is it acceptable to have a Yahoo email address? I've sent it to people. I send my email out to people, and they're like, really? This is your You're
Well,
still Yahoo.
I'll back you up on this for sure if you need it. My brother still has a Yahoo email address, and I still have a Yahoo email address, which I use for. It's not my main one though. Just
okay.
putting it out there.
It's your
but I
burner.
use it for like fantasy football somehow. Yeah, I use it just to email you. That's the only thing I use it for.
Email it for my drugs. Can I get some weed?
What? Okay, but why do you? I think it's cool, but why do you? What's the deal? Why the Yahoo?
I just never to not have. I've never been like this. This email sucks. I'm going Gmail. I remember
it's a pain in the ass to migrate and tell everyone.
Yeah, and when everyone was doing Gmail, I was just like, I'm cool with this. I still have the classic Yahoo too. Like I get a reminder all the time, like you're still using classic Yahoo. Do you want to update or do you want to? And I just like the interface, but that's just me. Like I'm the worst with adapting to the new stuff that's coming out. But yeah, it's sending everyone like my new email address is you know.
And nobody does. You send it to bookers. Hey, can you change this? Yeah, whatever. If you fall out of my rotation, I don't care.
Right.
I think that's a good excuse to talk to bookers who just haven't booked you in a while, and you're tired of sending your avails, So you're like, hey, you know what? I've changed my email. Just like you didn't care about my last 6 rounds of avails, but maybe you'd like to know that my email is different.
I mean, if it was AOL,
that's what I got.
Change. You do?
Well, that's my burner. But like that's one I still use the one. That's the one I use. That's the one I use for like, if they're like, oh, you got to sign up for this. I give them my, and I came up with it, I think sophomore year of high school. So it's like poopy 311 at AOL. And it's like, they always have to say it back. I'm always like, oh, it's POOPY 311.
You've had it forever, but it's not like an account where you're like, how'd you get that? How'd you get poopy?
I liked 311.
How'd you get poopy 311?
You could get poopy 312 today. No one's gone higher. Also, I like you're like, oh, I was a sophomore in high school, and I was expecting you to say like, Captain 69 or something. But poopy, that's like 3rd grade. You're sophisticated.
You had email in high school?
Well, yeah, that too.
I didn't get it till like after college.
Yeah, we had the AOL, those discs. You put it in, you get 30 free hours.
You were way ahead of me. Well, I also feel like too, it's like, okay, whoever has this email address has it. If I then move, you could probably set it up to have it forwarded to the new place. But I'm not even like dying to learn how to do that.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you because now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know what it is about Gmail that's so great, that's better than Yahoo.
And Yahoo's still relevant, right? Yahoo News is still legit. I mean, there's still like a thing.
Not if you take a Steve Hofstetter comedy course. And he'll say it's unprofessional.
To have
or maybe that was Hotmail. Maybe that's Hotmail. I don't know. Hotmail, AOL, Yahoo, they're all not
MSN.
Yeah. Netscape.
SBC Global.
What a great comedy class where he's telling you what email address is the most.
I have an email address on my website that's like pat@patmcganncomedy.com, but it goes to my Yahoo. So then when I respond to people, it's almost like I act like I have this email. Mm-hmm. But it just and then I respond to them, and then
it comes from Yahoo, right?
It comes from Yahoo.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just like why are we playing this game?
Well, I have that too. There's Johnny@johnnybeaner.com. So when I write to him back, I'll be like, "Oh, hey, so my people forwarded your message to me. I thought I'd just give you that personal touch. It's me. Let's just cut through the red tape. I'll do the gig.
We can work directly.
Yeah, we'll work around them."
Yeah, that's the thing. If like people have your email, you think that like you're not going to get gigs. Like someone might be trying to reach out to me here. Like I have a new email. I don't know. I just feel like this is it.
Well, that's why even when you do migrate, because I was like, oh, I'll switch over to Gmail, and you just think, oh, well, after time I'll fade out. I still have to check that AOL one just as often as Gmail because some people do still email me.
I don't like the Gmail interface. thread or the way they attach the emails.
I think I've used it so long. I don't know if I could see anything else, you know. It's weird how it just becomes part of your brain, all that interface stuff.
I'm just old.
Does Yahoo have like you could use, like you can store stuff on it, or like, you know, because they have the whole Gmail, they have the Google Drive and Google Docs. Does Yahoo have stuff like that?
Not sure. I just love it.
It's just that sweet old interface.
You're great.
No, like I just use it like I'm just so basic.
No,
and I get,
you know, Gmail has the search option as well.
You're a great spokesman for Yahoo email. You're like, guys, you just type in a message. You can send it anywhere in the world. Yahoo email. As long as you just have their email address. You just send it to them instantly. It's amazing.
You can tailor your salutation. So like it's automatic.
Whoa.
So I don't have to write like, love you, Pat. Like that just comes up.
It's automatic to all the bookers.
And then it puts my website there, and I have like a picture of me being funny. And it helps. It helps with
I want to back you up. I don't know if you are aware that none of those are exclusive features to Yahoo.
That was the joke, Johnny. I'm just fucking around. All right.
Come on.
That's what I like to
podcast,
use.
Pat.
Okay, sorry. All right, here's another one I'll throw out there. I don't know if you could back me up on this, but my wife and I will argue about this. When you put dishes in the dishwasher, do you rinse them off? Like before you put them in? Like if your kid has a waffle and there's a ton of syrup on there and like a waffle piece clinging on there, do you like rinse it in the sink like pretty good, clear it off, and then put it in the dishwasher?
I do.
So do I.
Yeah. I like, we've talked about this before, but I have the compost bin. Like, so I'm like taking the napkin and wiping the food off and then rinse, and then it's a whole process. But yes, I'm with you on that.
Oh, you guys have already discussed this. I'm sorry.
No, we talked. My topic a while back was how my wife makes us literally basically run our garbage through the dishwasher to clean it before we recycle.
Yeah, that's a different issue.
Totally different. You're talking about. I didn't know which way you were going. If you were saying
right, I was nervous.
I didn't know, but I went out on a limb, and I do. I clean because our dishwasher sucks. There's more shit on it when it comes out than when you put it in. It's so bad.
I'll go in there, and there'll be like stuff on, and it's like, did anyone rinse this before you ran it? But then my wife thinks that the dishwasher works harder if you don't rinse it.
Like you have to train it?
Yeah.
Like you don't dishwasher needs to build up some
tolerance
reps.
Or something, or anyway, that was
no, there's nothing worse. I'll back you up for sure, because there's nothing worse than unloading the dishwasher and like pulling out a fork and seeing like that piece of food that's like glued to it because it's like a rice thing has been heat suction to it or whatever, and then you're like, what the and then now it's like harder to clean it now than it was before.
Yeah,
they're the worst. What?
No, when I was growing up, that was like I had two sisters, and that was like the progression of cleaning up after dinner. It was like you clear, you rinse, you load, and the rinsing was a big part.
Critical.
Where like now I'll look in the dishwasher and it's like you could eat off some of the plates. Some of the stuff is still hanging in there.
Leftovers.
Yeah.
My wife, she also rinses. She's big on it, but even our issue is she has like very particular where the dishes need to go in the dishwasher. Like she thinks there's like a perfect loading.
Oh yeah.
Like to the point where she'll move. Like it drives me crazy. But like she'll open it and like kind of sigh, not even say anything to me, but then just kind of move things around like a Tetris, you know? And you're like,
Yeah.
we're not even going to get it to max capacity. But she used to nanny for these rich families, you know, and she saw how they would do. So she said, we're always trying to copy these rich people, and exactly like, no, they would load their dishwasher like this. So that's what we need to do.
Was she copying the rich people or the
Yeah, the rich
Polish people that were working for them?
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. She saw the help, how they did it, and they were very talented. You know, they have 40 years experience.
Yeah, my wife will do that to me sometimes. Like, really? Did you put this on the bottom? You got to put this up top. And put the but we
Right,
run it every night, and then, but I always forget to run it, which is a problem. My wife does that. Like, I'll go to like that because it's like near our TV. So if I run it, I can't hear what I'm watching.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll I'll just forget to turn it on.
Yeah, we haven't mastered loading. Every time I open it up, there's like 3 or 4 cups just full of weird white water because they flipped over and filled up with whatever water gets shot in there.
And then like plastic doesn't dry as well in there. But we're doing we're doing more of that stuff, cooking. And
that's the thing, right? Dishes. Oh my God. I've never ran the dishwasher so much in my life. I can't, because we used to eat out way, a lot. And then
have you ever had leftovers as much as you had now? I like warm up leftovers for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
I never did that before.
Also, when I cook dinner now, I don't ever make just enough dinner. Like, I always just make the entire package just because it's like I don't want to cook all these meals, So, like, we'll eat like chicken 3 days in a row just because I don't want to. If I'm opening up the package, I'm making them all.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough for guys like us, having to eat.
We're adjusting though, man. We're survivors.
And when I was growing up, like doing the dishes was the worst. And I because everyone had their day of the week or whatever. They got 7 kids, and I was just like, I hated it. And now, I don't know if it's like OCD. Like I enjoy seeing a filthy mess and then having it clean and be like, I did that. But also, I don't have to duck into kids because I'm doing the dishes.
Right.
So it's a good way to get, to avoid quality time with your paralyzed son.
But it's meditative and it's relaxing, and you're not looking at your phone. And that's like probably when you are thinking about stuff that you want to talk about in like your act. It's almost like when I get in the car and drive, it's like we're constantly distracted by all this shit. But when we do something like that, then you almost like, oh my God, I remember this. Like, this is actually when I think.
Yeah.
Have some like thoughts come. Yeah, I don't mind it as much as I used to either. Like, it's actually it slows down time, and that I don't dry them right away.
That's so true about being able to listen to your own thoughts. I think like podcasts, I got to be careful with podcasts. Like, if people are listening to this, that's
tune out, please.
That's great, but don't listen to this part. But like, if I listen to podcasts all that, like you used to go for a walk, you just go for a walk, right? You wouldn't think like, oh, I'm gonna go like for a hike or something. But now, like, the first thing I think of is like, oh, I'll put on a podcast for this walk. It'd be nice,
Yeah.
But then it's like you missing all that time that you could be thinking of stuff that maybe you won't get the rest of your day.
Yeah. I started running a little bit like during the pandemic, and that's like a total humble brag to throw out. Like, I'm running.
Johnny's been doing backflips.
So. Not really doing it that much anymore. But I'm
still doing my backflips, a lot of them.
I was talking to my brother-in-law, and he was like, I'm like, do you listen to music? Like, he's a big runner. Like, he does marathons and shit. Like, I do a couple miles.
Yeah. Do you listen to stuff?
I do sometimes, but he was like, you know what? I'm so plugged in all the time. He's like, I don't listen to anything. He's like, I just go out there and I hear like the birds and nature and, be outside. And I've been like, wow, that's actually, Now I'm trying to do that. I'll go and I don't bring anything, and then your mind is kind of.
See, I've tried that, but that when I do that, it makes me. I'm constantly thinking, oh my God, I'm running. This sucks. Whereas like if I listen to music, like I won't listen to podcasts, but I'll listen to music when I run, and it's like, oh, I can see nature, I can see birds, but I'm listening to Tom Petty, So it's like, oh, this is.
Yeah, music is a little different. Podcasts are like doing your thinking for you in a way. By the way, this is the only podcast that's like anti-podcast. We're like telling people you should still, but no, like, yeah, music's a little different. I think.
You don't listen to Joe Rogan so he can tell you how to think?
Why I don't need my mask.
Aren't his podcasts like, I don't think I have enough time.
Well, that's,
a week to listen on episode.
I'm 6 hours into an episode. I got to finish it off this weekend. Speaking of which, we should probably, I'll go quick and then we'll get out of here. Cause we don't want to take up all your time, but, this is weird because we, the timing of these, we released these. So this is not current event. We don't even, as we're doing this now, officially know who the president is going to be or anything.
We may not when it comes out, by the way.
Yeah, we still might not know. So this actually might be perfect, but
it's going to be Joe Biden.
Oh, I like that. There you go.
Don't you think?
This is on the, I think you're right, but this is on the record. So do you want to say the other one just in case, and we can cut it so you look like a genius?
No, it's going to be Joe Biden.
Oh, I love it.
Doubling down. That's great.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm sure you guys watched Tuesday night election returns, and we were kind of switching between a couple stations, but mostly MSNBC. I like the Kornacki, he's good. But these guys, here's what I need backup on. They're too loose. These MSNBC anchors, and maybe cable news in general, but especially on MSNBC, they're having way too much fun. It's like the fate of the world is hanging in the balance. And then like Brian Williams is he's doing stand-up. He's like, oh, can you believe this guy? What a wackadoodle. And you're like, dude, we're all going to die. Like, what is wrong with you? Could you show some seriousness? Like they're just having so much fun. They're cracking each other up. And like, even when things are going bad, like at the beginning, the whole night took like this weird sort of roller coaster ride. But it's like, even when things started to go south, like these guys are just yucking it up. I was like, can we get a little bit of decorum here?
I haven't seen the MSNBC's coverage, but I saw a couple of tweets today that people love this Kornacki.
Yeah, now he's good because they just chain him to this magic wall thing, and he's just doing the numbers. He's just giving you the facts. He doesn't have any. He doesn't joke. He's great. He's like a robot. That's what I want. I want just the facts, serious stuff. I don't want these guys joshing.
I want to back you up on the fact that these people are like taking shots at being funny so much more than they used to. And I think that they're pandering. Like, you don't have to be funny. Everyone's trying to be glib and go viral.
That's it.
And have their like, I'm clever. It's just like, just shut up, do your job. It's like the corporate guy that introduces you at the event, right? Like he's a top sales guy, but he's also pretty funny. So we're going to have him bring you up. They don't know you're a comic. We're going to tell them that you're the top sales guy. Okay. It's like the stupidest approach, right? But I think everyone is so scared to even like tell, like, hey, this is actually what's happening, that they think they have to be like cute about it. Like, just
cute.
Do your fucking job.
Well,
I'm with you, man.
Yeah, good.
I mean, I agree. Like that makes me like this was one thing I was gonna bring up. Like, I don't know why my wife wanted to turn it on at like 3:30 yesterday, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
what is there to talk about? Like, they're all saying if this. It's like, we all see, why you've been talking for 24 hours, and then they start talking about strategy. Like, well, now Trump's strategy has got to be. It's like, we all voted. We're counting.
Right.
There's no strategy. He has no strategy now, except for, calling bullshit and, asking for recounts. But like, as far as, his strategy is to hope he gets Arizona. That's a pretty good strategy.
That's the other thing is I don't like is like they're so proud of themselves when they catch, especially on MSNBC, because they're like, they're more liberal. And so they're so proud of themselves when they catch the president in some sort of flub or lie or something. So they're like, he was on there, Brian Williams, reading one of his tweets, and he's like, he capitalized Poles like people from Poland when he meant Poles. And they're laughing. It's like, you understand you've been getting your ass kicked by this guy for the last 4 years? Like, have a little respect for your opponent here. I agree. He's a moron, but, like, oh, what a idiot. Like, that idiot is beating us constantly. Like, let's get it together.
People act like it should be entertaining and that it has to be like grab their attention. I've been now home with my wife and she's calmed me down, to be honest with you. Like, we watch this PBS NewsHour and it's like comes on after Arthur. It's like, do you think these people are trying to radicalize you? It's like Sesame Street, Arthur, and then the PBS NewsHour. Like, can you calm down? And I can see, too, if I told some friends, like, you should watch this, check this out, they'd be like, this is boring. It should be. The news should be boring. No one should be yelling at you. No one should be triggering you. It's like, that's what the news has become. It's like, it used to be like, so-and-so was shot in the corner of such and such, and they're on their way to the hospital. Now it's like, so-and-so was shot, and you know who did it. Don't you? And they want to shoot you, too. They're going to come shoot you if you don't. I mean, it's fucking crazy.
It's so true. And I was thinking about this, too. Wasn't even planning on bringing this up, but that's a great point. It reminded me, I was thinking about it, the best stuff I've ever gotten or the most like relevant news. It's like usually a story that I've read by someone I've never heard of. It's like, it's just somebody who did some reporting. They interviewed some people and it was in some newspaper or magazine, or you see it on TV even, but it's some journalist. I don't know this journalist. And it's like, oh, that's very interesting because the story was very interesting. Right. But now it's like most of the time people get their news from famous people, like whether it's a cable news person, some Twitter personality, or like YouTube star. But that's like, you have to be famous now to have any credibility. Like you literally have to have a blue check mark or people do not believe what you're saying.
That's why I think that when this vaccine comes out, you got to pay off these people because everyone's like for sale, right? Like you give John Voight and Kid Rock enough money, they'll be like, you do have to take the vaccine. Like I know I've been running my mouth like Chuck Woolery.
Yeah.
Listen, you should really take this vaccine because
I know I've been running my mouth.
It's just, we got to snap back.
We're in trouble. But,
there is no way to snap back. That's the thing. It's like, we need to go back, but you can't put the genie back in. I mean, it's just.
Right. But I think you can. And but really what's really tough, honestly, is I think that there were, and I mean, I know you guys, right? And none of us are political in our acts. I don't think extremely. If we are, I don't think we're like known for that.
Johnny's is mostly trampoline stuff.
Just being like informed.
Yeah.
And normal. And like what do you want, a fucking civil war?
You know what it is? It's like, it would just be nice if everybody lived in the same universe. Because right now, it feels like there's at least 2 different universes. And it's like that you can't even communicate.
Yeah.
It's like
I've had this conversation with, I'm on a, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but I'm in like some group text with some college buddies. And they're, it's like, what do you believe? Like, you think that some of this stuff happened that they just made up, and they scream at me like, oh, the media or fake news. Like, you yelling fake news while you're actively consuming it. Come on. It's like, I think it's going to change, and I hope that we can get out there and you know, I think comics are missed right now, just to be able to be out there, and I don't know. But like I said, I'm not even a fucking political comic or would ever be, you know. I think a lot of us are apprehensive to even talk about that stuff because you don't want to alienate people. You don't want to, you know.
Yeah. I mean, when I did that first show, outdoor show, I like had all, you know, it was like earlier because, you know, I was like, oh, well, I'll do these jokes about, you know, whatever, you know, like I was doing Andrew's washing your groceries bit, and
classic.
well, like my, you know, like newer, you know, whatever COVID pandemic stuff.
You're like, oh, you don't like that one, and then you do a backflip.
Yeah. So I started out doing that, and I realized, you know, and then they yell out, oh, it's a hoax. We don't wear masks around here. And I was like, oh, well, you know, my point of view, my perspective will not float here. So it's the fart jokes.
Well, that's so true, because it used to be like a booker or something would tell you, hey, you know, no politics or something, like it's some corporate gig. Like, yeah, you do what you want, just don't do politics. We don't want to, whatever. Yeah. And that would be easy. Because in the old days, you're like, oh, I just won't do my, you know, George Bush bit or something. But now you can't even say that there's a like, it's political to say you should wear a mask during a pandemic. It's political to say that the earth is round and not flat. It's political. I mean, there's so many things you can, like, people have turned into politics. It's crazy.
When we were younger, and I think, I don't know how old you are, Andrew, but maybe Johnny and I are a little bit ahead of you.
Thank you. Yes,
no,
you
I
accurately guessed. Johnny thought
I'm
I was
44.
Like Johnny thought I was like 60.
No, I didn't.
36.
I thought
I'm
Andrew
36.
was the same age.
Johnny, you and I are close, right? I'm 44.
What?
I'm 44.
Oh, how dare you think I'm 44? See, that's how Andrew reacted when I said we're the same age, right? And we're the same. It's the same gap. He's what, 36? I'm 40. Yeah. You're 44.
You're 40?
Yeah.
Oh my God! You started so young.
Did you hear me talk about backflips?
You started young.
Do that when I'm 44.
I think that I probably put years on you because you were like, so. Yeah, I mean, when I met you, you were just doing. You had been a stand-up for a lot longer, and I think that Johnny, that's awesome, man. But anyway, my point was going to be, what was my point going to be?
That Andrew looks old or something?
That's usually what it comes to.
No, I had a fucking.
I think you were talking about my
closing argument.
I was talking about politics, and then you were saying, I don't know how old you guys are, but maybe you're thinking about how it used to be back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, that's what I say. When I was growing up, the hoaxes were that like Elvis was alive, JFK, like JFK was, we're not sure. Now the hoaxes are like fucking daily.
Yeah.
And they're so far reaching, and they're significant in number.
Yeah. And there's this attitude and like this sort of arrogance when someone with this insane idea presents it to you, and then you're like, oh no, I don't believe that, or that's crazy. They're like, oh, you don't
like,
believe
I
that.
don't believe
like
Beaner's 40.
Show some.
There's no way. That's bullshit. Flanagan has your birth certificate. Jim Flanagan showed me. James Irvin Barry told me that you were born.
Yeah, exactly. James Irvin Barry.
He's a funny dude, man.
I haven't seen him in so long.
No?
I just got back a year ago, so I'm sure we'll cross paths.
When I was starting out, there was so much love to and respect to the Milwaukee comedy scene.
From what, the Chicago comedy scene?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that when I was starting, it was it was significant that we thought that you guys were great, and it was so friendly, right? I mean, we'd go up
Yeah, I
there.
mean,
You guys
I felt like it was.
Yeah.
Do you feel plugged in to the Chicago comedy scene now?
Maybe a little bit more now than I did when I started. You know, when I started, I didn't realize that there was a scene. I just thought like you go to Zanies, and like I grew up in Chicago, so I thought that like, oh, Zanies, you go there, and I didn't realize that there was like this scene. You know, I went to some open mics before I started and checked that out, but when I was getting going, it was like Hannibal was still here, but this huge class had just left. And one of the reasons I actually got not got into stand up, but one thing that kind of real that it was something that I could try was Pat Bryce went to Dayton. Do you know Pat?
I don't.
No. So this comic in Chicago anyway, but he was with this group with you know, that crew that left right before, like Kyle Kinane, TJ Miller,
Vatterott.
and Vatterott was still here when I started. So, but my path was like through Zanies, and then I feel like through that I kind of realized, and then I pivoted and was like, hey, we should do stuff with these guys from CYSK. We should. So I think I do feel connected to the Chicago scene for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I asked because people are asking like, oh, what's the what's the Milwaukee scene like? And I just felt like I was really plugged into it. And then once you start, working like full time and you're on the road,
Yeah.
you kind of lose. Like it really changed. A lot of people got out of it, that aren't doing it anymore. Like from when I started, and then there's other people that kind of picked up the torches and started doing this, the whole cast of killers thing and all that, like in Milwaukee. And I would hop on their shows occasionally, but I just didn't feel like I knew what the scene was anymore, just because I was not there very much. So
I had that initially. Then when I started house emceeing, I was here, so that then I think that helped. But yeah, it's
the turnover is incredible. I started in Seattle and then bounced around, but then every time I'd go back to Seattle, it was like
a whole
Seattle
new crew.
people would usually do like 2-3 years in Seattle and get out. It was not.
I remember
like,
a meeting you, Andrew, at Zanies. I think you were coming in, you were featuring.
Yeah.
And you had we had some mutual friends. Brian Moot.
Yes. Yeah. You guys did that Nebraska festival, I think.
Yeah. And I think that he had given me like a heads up, and we knew each other through him. And
Zanies is such a great club. It's so fun. If you're ever anybody listening to this in Chicago, and it's not a pandemic, you should go. But I have like the worst headshot in the world hanging it. I think I must have mailed it to Bert before I actually worked for it. Like, I don't understand how he could have the headshot he has. Like, I was in college, I think, is the one that's and he put it up like, because he's so great. It's so weird that he'll put up these anonymous comics, there's like 1 billion headshots up in that Zanies, but
seeing your face on any of these walls is
it's
great,
pretty
right?
cool. I just wish it was a different photo. I might try and change it out.
Mail him a new one.
Yeah. Well, Pat, you have you said you have a podcast? Do you have anything you want to plug?
Sure, I'll mention my podcast. I do a podcast with Jim Flanagan. It's called All Over the Place. We do it. We drop them on Tuesdays, and it's just nonsense, just us rambling like this. It's just chill and fun, and
that's great.
Yeah, so it's cool, and I like doing it because especially now it's like just something to put out there, and that's why I like doing something like this. Like, I appreciate you guys inviting me on and being able to talk to you guys. It's just good. It's just like I miss this shit.
Thank you for doing it. I'm so sick of talking to Johnny.
I know.
Talking about his jumping
Johnny Diener is legendary. Johnny, my wife says hello. I told her that we were getting on tonight. I mean, Jim and I talk about your bits, pancakes, and I used to love when you do impressions of people that like you grew up with. Like, all right, you guys know. Like,
it's a great impression too. It's very physical, very physical. Who's up for a little round ball? A little round ball? Anybody?
Oh, it's so good, man. I miss you, bud.
Man.
Both you guys. I appreciate you having me.
Of course.
Thanks for doing it.
I'm glad we could back you up on that dishwasher fiasco.
I know. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe the Yahoo account was better.
No, that was great. It was perfect.
I didn't bring enough compelling stuff.
No, I'm being sincere. I'm sincere.
Johnny,
be great. Does anyone ever come up with something like that's inappropriate? Like,
I don't.
What's like you up on the? My wife's always trying to force her opinion on me.
We have our faux racist moments just for a good laugh.
And if anything sounds a little racist, we're like, oh, it's faux racist.
Right, it's faux racist.
Yeah, that was clearly faux.
I was gonna be like, is it okay to like sometimes like you have to grab your kid? Like I never like nothing open-handed, nothing like with a momentous arm, nothing. But
right, just grab, like break their arm in anger.
Can you back me up on that? Get on the trampoline.
All right.
But like it's okay to break their arm. But I'm saying if they're not listening to you, not just out of the blue. I mean, if they're like disobeying you.
Right. All right, guys.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and good luck out there. Oh, and the special. How can people watch the special?
It's on Amazon. You can find it on Amazon. It's out there.
It's great. It's great.
All right.
That was so convincing, Johnny.
It was. I'll show you on my phone. I got it. When it first came out.
Johnny cannot be.
Wait a minute. Wasn't it available on Amazon Prime? I don't know why. Every time I'm sincere.
No, it's not a Prime. It's not a Prime. Thanks for bringing it up.
Wasn't it at one point?
No, it was never. Thank you for pointing that out. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, I bought it on.
And it's
iTunes,
not on that. And it's not on.
It was on. It's on iTunes. That's
not on Netflix either. Okay.
No, let's just name all the things it's not on. It's not on Apple Plus.
That's not an insult. If it's on Prime. If it's not on Prime, that's like you got to pay. That's how good it is. You got to pay to get it, right? Yeah. I feel like I'm digging a hole even worse.
It's gonna be free soon. It's actually gonna be free soon. Like they do the initial release, it's like you got to pay for it, which I was bummed out about at first. It's like, come on, it's like a paywall. You almost feel like but
make them pay.
Then it started to become more normal. That was the thing about being home. Is people were willing to be like, oh, I'll pay for that because they're not going to restaurants or movies so that ended up being fine because we run shit all the time when we watch stuff.
Yeah.
So hopefully people will find it.
And every time we're looking for a movie, somehow we find the one that's like there's like 5,000 free movies, and then it's like my wife's like, oh, what about this one? It's like $4.99. You're like. There's so many movies.
Do you want to rent it for $3.99 or you can buy it for $35?
Gary Coleman has a bit where he buys on demand like Goodfellas or something from his bed, and he can see the Goodfellas DVD, but he's too lazy to get out of the bed to put it into the DVD player.
Oh, that's funny.
He's like, I'll pay the $19.99
just to not get up.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, man. All right. That's it. We got to get out of here. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, guys. Great to see you.
Good to see you.
There.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the Cavalry.
The Cavalry.